feel like I'm on a blind date a little bit.
Hello, my name is Guido. I'm 50 years old. But funny enough, when I've chats with the younger generation in our agency, I sometimes feel much younger than them. I have to.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because I have the feeling that they're very conservative, very square, and it's a proper job that they are doing. But it's, as we said earlier, I think it's one of the greatest jobs that you can have. I think it's a well-paid hobby, and you meet interesting people, do stuff, and you put it on air. People watch it, say, "Wow, great job, awesome." As you say in America.
If you make it like, oh, this is my work, and your only job is to sell it to the client, that doesn't really set anybody up for successful.
Yeah, it's because whenever I talk about, or when I use the phrase creatives, I always include the account people in our agency, to be honest. I think because they make things possible, and the junior creatives that we did a couple of years ago, we did this this amazing thing for the DIY home brand Hornbach, and we bought this Russian tank and turned this tank into hammers. We did an edition of 7,000 copies of these hammers, and it's quite easy to write down, yeah, we turn a Russian tank into hammers. It's quite easy, but do you know how hard it is to buy a tank, a real tank, a Russian tank in Germany?
I cannot imagine that that would be easy.
Yeah, it took them 4 months. With all they have to talk to the government and stuff like that. We bought it in Czech Republic, and I think these are the real creatives to me because they made it possible. There's a huge tendency in Germany. Also, they call it the gold ideas. In America, they call it the extra mile, which sounds much nicer. But the gold ideas are ideas for clients that don't exist or that never ever were aired. But they do it parallel to their work, and they do it for the purpose of winning awards. And
we call those fake ideas.
yeah, and then we have.
That's what I've always called them.
Yeah, and I always like this conversation with new talents in our agency. They come up with these extra ideas, and I said, "Wow, this it's funny because you say fake ideas." They said, "Yeah, this is a great idea." I said, "Yes, it's a great idea, but it's a fake idea, right?" Yeah, that means that you're fake creative, right?
It's interesting to me that that our industry, sorry, now I don't want to use that term, but it's interesting to me that our industry focuses so much on the work that wins the awards when our job is to make money for our clients, whether we like it or not. I think that maybe reflects a little bit of discomfort with us internally about the fact that we are, at our heart, we're not artists. We're artists, but we're artists who use our art to sell things, and I think sometimes that makes people uncomfortable. And so I think that's what's great about the award shows is like, oh, we're just going to treat this like art, and we're only going to talk about the creativity of it because really, guys, we're artists. We're not salespeople, we're artists who happen to sell things versus the only reason we get to do what we do is because we're here to sell things. So that's just been an interesting tension I think I noticed coming out of advertising, because the whole reason I got into advertising is because I don't have enough internal drive to be creative without an assignment. You know, when I studied writing in college, and I would come back from the summers, and all of my friends in my program would be telling me about how they worked on their novel all summer, and they have all these ideas, and they're like, "What did you do this summer?" And I'm like, "Nothing." Yeah. I always joke that my love of advertising has as much to do with my love of crossword puzzles as it does with like my creativity, because it's about solving problems.
I think that because whenever I have an interview with a young creative who applies for a job in our agency, I read the CV and I ask myself, what the hell, why did you waste your whole life? Because it's so structured. Miami Ad School, and immediately you go to this agency and that agency, and then it's not always a good story that I see in this CV, because I personally love to meet people who spent, let's say, 2 weeks in prison in Afghanistan, or maybe worked for the U.S. Army in Panama or something like that.
So a writer who can't write a headline is one of my least favorite things.
I think one of my first creative director who came from the art side, he once said, because I have no creative director for copy, he always told me things like, and I think it's one of a very important sentence that that is still in my head, is he said, if you've got something to say, you've got a great headline. If you've got nothing to say, you have to become a very good liar.